Hello and welcome to today's webinar for the newest product update for Just Planet. Couple of preliminary information. As always, this is a GoToWebinar, so all participants are automatically muted to optimize the quality of audio and prohibit any background noises you might hear. If you do have a question, please ask that via the GoToWebinar chat box. We will keep a look at it and answer questions immediately. As always, my name is Jan Vierguts. I am the development lead for Just Planet, and let's take a look at what changed in this version. So with this update, one of the things we took a look at was the resource view specifically and how you work and watch the resource view. Until now, this view was ordered semi-randomly. What do I mean by semi-randomly? It was ordered following the appearance of resources in the resource group view. That means that if you, for example, and let's quickly switch to the resource group view, you have your workers randomly or by skill assigned to their resource groups. The first appearance here of the given resource would then mark the place it has in the resource view. This, of course, does not necessarily match how you might want to view the resource view. And that is why we now enabled you to have a similar mechanic that we have in the resource group view in regards to sequencing those resources. This does not have any impact on the scheduling itself. For that, you will still need to change the order in the resource groups themselves. But to structure the resource view how you want to view it, let's take a look at this quick example. You will see here at position 1, I have my machine 1, followed by all of my workers and then the rest of my machines. This, of course, not necessarily a good order. So how would we change it? You click on the 1 like you do with all sequence numbering that we have and select its new position. So in this case, we want it, and if we take a quick look here, we want it at position 16. And now, while this runs, the engine will send this change to all accounts, and you will now have structured all your workers and all your machines right below each other for a grouping that is not scheduling relevant. Also, as I said just now, this ordering is managed account-wide, so you do not have the option to have multiple orderings for different users. What we also did is we basically pulled along what we had with the other release in the main edit dialogues and took that change also to the settings. As you can see here now, in difference to the version beforehand, we now have here a couple of options that immediately lead you into one single big dialogue, like you can see here. It's also tabbed like we had before. We now have what we call the general scheduling options, and you will see that some of the options that we had here before are now changed or missing, and this will change your standard scheduling settings, like how many days in the past do you at minimum want to see, how far into the future do you want to plan, what do you want to see on the bars in the specific views. What it's now missing from this view is all the execute settings, and those have been moved to their own category over here. Now, why did we do that? First of all, as you can see, we have the ready state definition, we have your settings for the execute tracking, and we have the chief workflow that you can have activated or not. And the new option here is the auto approval. Now, what does the auto approval do? All of your shop floor feedback that is getting collected, you or a planner of yours has to approve those for actual use in the scheduling. Now, if you can trust your team and have faith in your operators to deliver on time and accurate enough feedback, this is an unnecessary step. And you might want to have this process automated at specific times or in specific intervals. And this is exactly what we now provide. So currently my auto approval is off. And if we take a look at the options here, we have the options timed and interval. Let's take a look at those in order. Timed will open this grid to allow you to set per weekday the times per day. And this is an important distinction in UTC. Those are not the times that you have on your clock, but is because of time zone difference necessary to be made in UTC. So per day, you can now enter here the time of day when such an auto approval will happen. And I've set this up to be at 8, 12, and 16:30 UTC, basically for every day, except for Tuesdays, where it's happening at 8, 12, and 16:15. This then will go ahead, and as you may have noticed, this has only been done in 15-minute steps. This can only be done in 15-minute steps. So if I would enter here, let this be at 16:38, it will get rounded up to the next allowed slot 2:45. Same if I enter 37, it will get rounded down to the next allowed timestamp below it. What we also, and if we now say, okay, this will get applied to the entire system again. This is also a setting for the entire system. And now every day or every 15 minutes, a backend system will check, are those conditions met? Is it today? It's Tuesday. Is it 16:15 in UTC? And if so, I will automatically approve the data. The other option, as I alluded to earlier, is to switch that off to interval. If you switch to interval, the grid goes away and you get two new options. The first thing is a necessary must is to set an anchor for the interval. What does that anchor in this context mean? It specifies a specific point in time after which the interval is calculated. So as you can see here, I've set this interval to 4 o'clock in the afternoon today, so roughly 8 minutes ago. And now, as according to my auto approval interval in minutes, every 15 minutes, the auto approval will trigger. And it is important to note, this option is always set in minutes and can also only be set in 15-minute intervals. And again, if we take a look here, if I move that to 37, goes down to 30, 38, goes down to 45. Now let's keep this at 15 minutes. And you can basically pick any point in time that you want. And basically after setting it the first time, and if you are content with the interval and the timing, so for example, you want it every 4 hours and your day starts at 6 in the morning, your time. You set it at 6 in the morning for any of your work days, set it to 4 hours, and because it's a 24-hour day, it will trigger 6 times throughout the day and then be in the next morning ready for you to go. You can of course also set a 24-hour interval, whatever number. If it's divisible by 15 minutes is allowed here. So let's leave it at that. And again, it will be sent to the backend service and applied. Now let's take a quick look. If there are any questions, you're again very welcome to ask them via the in-app chat box of this GoToWebinar. What we also did with this release, and let's go back. Actually, let's take this. This is a direct way to the custom fields. And why do we want to have this? Because we increased the number of available custom fields on both a job and a task level from formerly 2 to now 10 available custom fields that you can set to any naming that you would like with a string value as a representative. So any text that you want to enter here as additional information, you now have up to 10 fields for both tasks and jobs at your disposal. And with that, we come to the conclusion for this release. We're already heavily working on the next one for mid of November and are really excited about this and our upcoming release. So again, if you do have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll stay in this meeting for the next couple of minutes. Otherwise, thank you for your attention and have a great day. So there don't seem to be any questions coming in. I just want to give a quick update here. As if you have noticed on screen, the automatic approval just now hit, and we have now approved the 5 feedback points that we had a couple of seconds ago. Okay, so then I'd like again to thank you for your kind attention and see you next time.